Well, hello. Welcome back to Justice Redesign. I'm Steve Teskey, retired judge, and this is episode 5, what may be the concluding episode. Anyway, this episode is titled What We Choose to Protect, was intended to be a closing monologue on this series titled The Compact for Obedience, about President Trump and his administration's push to get universities to sign on to this written compact, which is an agreement. You do this and we'll do that, the tit for tat, the quid pro quo, basic in contracts, offer acceptance, and then there has to be consideration. Both sides have to get something, and in this case, Trump is wanting the universities to back off on academic freedom, that is, tone it down on their speech. Basically, they cannot be critical of conservative ideology. And in return, the universities will get their grants. Keeping in mind that universities, for a large part, survive on grants, especially given the things that they use those grants for that actually make America one of the greatest countries in the world in terms of research and development. But be that as it may, I've already talked about that. But in the news, by the time I'm writing up episode 5 here, remember I said a couple episodes ago that I believe that most of the universities, if not all of them, will reject the compact. And it's beginning to come in, okay, as I was writing this, that universities are beginning to reject it. So be looking out for the possibility of an epilogue, which would be in episode 6, which would, with all that's happening now, based on everything that's been said in these 5 episodes or 4 previous ones, and this one, which was supposed to be the final one, may not be the final one because I just want to update you, okay, on what's going on currently. And it's still shaping as we are talking. So let's get on with episode 5, okay? All right? So we've walked through the compact, right? The Constitution, the economics, and the Trojan horse. We've laughed a little, cried, mostly on the inside, and wondered why a billionaire CEO is suddenly cosplaying as James Madison with the Bloomberg term. But let's end here on something bigger than Mark Rowan, bigger than universities, and yes, even bigger than the compact. Let's talk about what we choose to protect. Let's get a little personal. Let's talk about the freedom nobody notices until it's gone. The funny thing about the First Amendment, and I mean funny, in the same way open heart surgery is funny, is that we only notice it when someone tries to take it away. And usually that someone is very polite about it. No, okay? We're not restricting speech. We're just redefining it and limiting it and making sure it aligns with national priorities. You're welcome. That's how freedoms disappear, ladies and gentlemen. Not with a bang, but with a memo, with a compact, with a guideline, with a partnership. Pick your choice. With people telling you, we're not silencing you, we're helping you to be responsible. That's the part where I channel my inner Jon Stewart and say, get the hell out of here with that. So let's talk about America's greatness and greatest vulnerability. America became the most innovative, chaotic, brilliant mess of a nation because people were free to say things the government hated. Think about that. Free to challenge, free to criticize, to satirize, to oppose, to disrupt, and imagine something better. That freedom is not a luxury. It's the whole ball game. But it comes with a vulnerability because free speech means you have to tolerate speech that annoys you. threatens your worldview, contradicts your politics, makes your donors uncomfortable, makes your administrators sweat, makes your president, any president, furious. And that's the deal. That's the bargain. That's the cost of admission to a free society. If you want a country where institutions only say things approved by the government, well, then congratulations. There are several on the market. None of them are democracies, by the way. Now, let's talk about the moment we become what we fear. Here's the larger danger in Rowan's argument. It's not that he misunderstands the First Amendment. It's that he misunderstands the purpose of the First Amendment. It's not there to protect the government. It's there to protect the governed. It's not there to ensure national unity. It's there to ensure national honesty. It's not there to guarantee stability. No, it's there to guarantee dissent. When we let the government decide when ideas universities can endorse, we become precisely what this country was founded to escape. The thing our founders feared most wasn't chaos. It was control. Not disorder, but orthodoxy. Not disagreement, but enforced agreement. Not conflict, but compliance. When the state begins telling universities what ideas they can publicly support, that's not a compact, it's a confession. A confession that we no longer trust our own Constitution. So what's the real compact between us and the future? So let's end where America always ends, with a bet. Every generation places a bet on what the next one will need. Some people bet on control. I don't. I bet on curiosity. I bet on education. I bet on open debate. I bet on messy, uncomfortable, inconvenient freedom. Because the next generation doesn't inherit our certainty. They inherit our courage. They inherit the choices we make to keep the democracy breathing. And the choice we face right now is simple. Do we want universities that serve the Constitution or universities that serve the administration? Do we want thinkers or do we want followers? Do we want independent minds or ideological subsidiaries or subsidiaries? The compact Rowan defends asks us to choose obedience. The Constitution asks us to choose freedom. I know which compact I'm signing. I do hope you sign the same one. And that's choosing freedom. That's choosing the Constitution. Hey, I really appreciate you listening to these 5 episodes. And maybe episode 6, we'll find out. I think it's going to happen. But be looking for it if it does. In the meantime, until whatever the next episode is and whatever topic it is, I am grateful for y'all. Thank you for listening. And in the meantime, take care. Be safe. Bye now.